Their mission has been to empower young people in our for right now to have these kids realize what their education has been, what their gifts have been, how their gifts have been nurtured by the education system in Franklin Township. Now, 3 of our 4 guests are directly involved in the Franklin Township system. Adrian Plummer is in the nonprofit realm, perfectly lends itself to this situation and this operation. And 4 of them together have been friends for how long? Forever, forever. It's Adrian and Darren Plummer.
Sandbox?
Yes, Sandbox, really? Oh, God. Okay. And then we have Principals Solomon and Solomon. And we wanted to highlight the fact that this system is honoring not necessarily the kids with the highest scholastic aptitudes or scores, but kids who are well rounded, who have ambitions that benefit not only themselves, but their families, their friends, and their community. It is a system that embraces and enforces giving back to your community. So tell us more, Adrian, from your perspective, where this is currently.
Well, first, I'd like to say that I'm first and foremost, before I'm anybody, I am a proud alumni of Franklin High School, class of 2000, along with, my counterparts here, who just to remind the community that we are a by Franklin for Franklin foundation. So we are here to make sure that there is not a young person in this community, if we can help it, that's going to be required to say, hey, I don't have the money to buy my books when I get to school, right? We have a lot of young people who have received scholarships but don't have the money to pay for their meal plan, right? There's an abundance of young people that are required to come home in their first year of school because they have $1,000 balance and they can't get their transcripts, right? We want to help and make sure that any young person that's in that position has an outlet to apply for young students from Franklin that are in their first year of college as well.
Yes, I had remembered that just peripherally, but that's a very
That lives on Wilson Road, and you are attending St. Joe's, you can apply to the. If you are attending Immaculata, if you're attending one of the local charter schools in town, we are by Franklin for Franklin. We are lovers, but at the end of the day, we are by Franklin for Franklin, and is feeling the pressure of we're 80% years, right? So that is something that we're hoping everybody can reach into their pockets and donate. How small of an impact. We've always committed ourselves to
$1 from every citizen in our community, and Miss Franklin, it's
very present on social media. We are very present in all of our Franklin Township alumni groups, etc. Pain as well. So if you wanted to search Warrior for Life Scholarship Foundation, we are a 501c3. We are registered with the New York Department of Charities. We do absolutely have a body in the community place of worship.
Well, that's the key. That it is of Franklin, by Franklin, for Franklin. But again, as Adrian said, if you do go to a school that's outside of Franklin, you are a Franklinite. You are a
My loving and handsome husband, Darren Plummer, who obviously works for the district, but I will always let him speak for himself because he does so well at that.
yes, he's very good at that. Yes, and his father said so. So, Mr. Darren Plummer, tell us about your position within Franklin High School. I know it has to do with inclusion and all sorts of acculturation that's going on within the school, but yet you are the number 4. It's very important that you put that in when you're trying to.
Next to and married to this young lady, like right here. So I am supervisor of equity and inclusion in our district, and connected to much of what we do in our nonprofit here is look at what the needs are of our students and try and find what those needs are when students need them. So I'm channeling something, or very wise, the things that allow our community to grow is the potential of our young people. Absolutely. And as people who benefited from, right, the folks that we stand on their shoulders always doing for us, we always want to do for the young people who are in our spaces or not in our spaces, right, and have that reach as a group of friends, alumni, community members So, for instance, if you've graduated in the year 2000, college, yes, yes, young person in
He was one of the recipients, and there's another woman. He was one of the recipients, and there's another woman, another young woman who was going into the medical profession. So the have turned out in terms of the educational system is brilliance. And my own little experience as the red carpet interviewer at the high school prom, I asked two questions, and what it is what was your best experience in Franklin, and where are you going next? And I don't know these kids by name. I would pick them at random. I would see a dress. Can you come over here and chat with me? And each child one of them had a plan. They had a plan of excellence. They had a plan that they had obviously thought out. And each one of them said that they learned so well. So on the level of the diversity of student that you look for, the school system, the principal of Samson G. Smith Middle School, Ms. Rebecca Solomon, or is it Mrs. Doctor? Right? A doctor as well. Dr. Solomon has led the championship on that. Yes, yes, that was the word.
Students like we were, everyone sitting here. Flagship scholarships. One, our HBCU scholarship. We also have our financial need and track. That is one that changes every year. Named after Dennis Huntley, as well as that has been named after. Did I forget somebody? And some additional people that we've had some memorial. And we're looking for any reason to award students with scholarships of any kind, whether it be a flagship scholarship or one of our smaller book scholarships. And those can range from
These scholarships too.
So we seek to award as many as possible, honestly. And I'll let my awesome husband here talk about.
Five years.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Has that impacted your relations with any of your students?
Of course. I think my students. Well, they when it first happened, I was in middle school. A lot of kids thought I was a degree and teaching kids about that, and so that's always been a good conversation with my students. And it's great for us doers. Us that application and bring them in for interviews, which is happening probably around, if you will, awarding our wonderful students in Franklin Township. Going because we have a lot of Team 15 scholarships. Again, this year, every year it gets better, more into a variety of different things, and just students majoring all types of things, going all types of schools, and we want to continue to champion that.
Well, that's obviously what all four of you have been doing from the beginning. What was actually? Did you just sit around one day over coffee and say, "I think we should do a scholarship program for kids. How did that happen? Well, there are kids watching, yes, and their parents, and those who are about to donate to you. So the genesis of it, I mean, really, how did it come about? Who wants to dress up?
I can. So we used to have a party every year, and it was simply a party for friends back when we were in school in the 1900s, in the early 2000s for some of us, right? We would have.
$2,000 if that was your year.
That's it.
Exactly.
That's it. 222. We'll take any of it. And we would have a party during homecoming time. Homecoming used to be Thanksgiving time in Franklin. It has changed since then. But we wanted to turn that party into a scholarship foundation. We wanted to turn it into the legacies of Franklin Township. Again, when you're talking about the Carl Wades, the Sid Ivies, the Dennis Harrises, and I can go on and on and on. And we really wanted to pay homage to them. So we decided we would start a scholarship foundation, and we tricked all of our friends to join us. And it happened right here at our home. And we're grateful, so grateful that 7 years ago they accepted the charge.
Well, it's something that is not just an homage, but it's the idea that every student is worthy on his or her own level. And I know, again, it's not about the grade point average. What do you look for? You say now we have 26 applicants. What's going to jump out at you as being the one that you would like to award Scholarship X to?
So
Nick?
that's the purpose of doing interviews. We want to make sure that not only they're exemplifying the different types of students that we're looking for in terms of grade point average. That's why we have academic. We want to hear their story, right? We want to know their story. We want to understand if they're a legacy. Tell us about all the amazing things that you volunteered, or the athletic accomplishments you've made, or the tremendous performances you had in the arts. We want to hear that story because we know it's out there. We were just talking about Chicago, right? Just how amazing that is. We want people to know that. We want to know. We want to find someone that Rebecca went to a HBCU, and we, after Malcolm Bernard, we know so many of our alumni that he helped when we were in high school, which is another story for another day. I wish we could have time to explain it, but tons of students applying to these HBCUs, and we want to support that, and help our students realize that it's great experiences there too, with financial need and understanding these kids' stories. We want to support that 110%. So interviewing the kids is where the magic happens, right? When we hear from them and they're explaining, what their essay said and what they've gone through. It's just we're blown away each year, and it's such a rewarding feeling after when we get done. We're like, man, we that's what we wish we can give. We can continue to support as many kids as possible here in Franklin Township community.
Well, we are very excited to be a teeny weeny little part of this. Franklin, you have heard what they've had to say. How did that actually impact each of you? Was there one adult in your Franklin experience? Who wants to start?
It's overwhelming.
Overwhelming. Okay, but so one is just a microcosm of it.
Absolutely. I think that I think for all of us, and I'm hoping I can answer your question because my mind is spinning of all the places we want to make sure that we touch. Right, we've been supported by not just businesses in Franklin, like Momentum Advisors, people that are outside of Franklin, our golf outing in the past, the world-renowned Bill Grippo. Circling businesses around us and making sure that we get the sponsorships that we need. Families like the Singletary family, that anybody who has been touched by Miss Singletary, right, at some point in the 1900s, as a student here in Franklin, their family just said, you guys are doing something we wish we could do on our own. So we're going to raise money as a family. I want to make sure that everybody understands that you can be that caring adult, whether it's $1 you can give, or you're out there spreading the message, and if you're a warrior near and far. So I think it's important to help these young people. They're going to be us, right? In Franklin, we're parents. They're listening to our voices and saying, I ain't got $1. Like, I get it, right? Like, we totally understand. But if you have a business that's connected to you, and before we pivot to any other, for all of us, each and every dollar that we bring in. None of us are on salary. None of us are taking, if you see the website, we donate. We're putting our money into this operation to make sure that we can keep a website up, so that if you donate $1.
Who was the adult who offered you the success? The one adult that you were a child away from success. Who would, if you could narrow it down to one person who was a tremendous influence for you that gave you this spirit?
The first person that comes to mind for me would obviously be my mother, my parents. I come from a great community. I was in her office when I wasn't supposed to be, right? She was a mother on campus. She tried to recruit me as the day like that. She was a presence, a military woman, right? Who balanced and decided to become a doctor of education very late into her life. Was a principal, an administrator, a leader in this district. Right, so in terms of, 1800s, pretty much, yes. And let's make sure that he hears that. We'll make sure my big brother hears that. Class of 88. All of you were in the 1800s. But we've named the scholarship for her in the past, and she has been a star supporter of ours through and through, constantly donating to support us, and she's never let us down. So at the end of the day, that is someone that I would say was my greatest impact as a student here in Franklin.
Okay. And next, Mr. Darren.
I would definitely say my my caring adult would be Mr. William Westfield, who was our first black superintendent. And in conversations with my dad, who you just met, I understood really how much Mr. Westfield put my dad under his wing. Wow. At a time when my dad needed it. And then to come full circle, him being my principal, him being our superintendent, right, having the gym in the new school named after Mr. Westfield, really was somebody who exemplified everything that Franklin was about. That could, and was just a fierce leader in our community and set a great example. So that would definitely be my caring adult.
What did he teach you?
For me, it was leadership. I saw him interact with young people and adults in the same caring way all the time. And he taught me how to friend them and having the new high school built, hearing him talk about the planning that took place and how many people had to come together across the, right, as I'm in leadership roles now. So that's what I took away from watching Mr. William Westfield.
A warrior. Yes. Absolutely a warrior. That sounds like the adult 18 or 1900s. As principals of the schools, all of you are now the role from a success, whether they earn the scholarship or not. If you say one sentence to a child that changes that child's life, to tackle whatever that is untackleable at the moment, your perspective as principal is on a different level, and of course on a different level than your husband's because of the age difference. And you've been on the elementary school level now. How does it differ as your caring adult was?
Sure. I mean, they respond great to me, and it's such a blessing. I think that our community members really believe and know that, my heart is that I want to help their children. There's no child that I don't love in Franklin Township, and I think they feel that. And then just to transition to my adult, it's Myra A. Mitchell. There's nobody like her. It was so important to honor her as a part of our legacy as it applies to the honorees of Warrior for Life Scholarship Foundation. I mean, she was just like me, a boots to the grounds person that would come to your house. I was in college and she was outside. Before I knew it, there was no internet or cell phone, really during that time. Nobody had those. They were very expensive. And I think back to my times at Morgan and at Hampton University, and I look outside, who's there? Myra A. Mitchell. Wow. And then fast forward 20 years, my daughter goes to Clark Atlanta University. She looks outside. Who's outside? Myra A. Mitchell. You know, so again, you know, for me, full circle definitely, but was somebody that was there to help develop my love for historically black colleges and universities, along with Malcolm Bernard, of course. But I would say Myra A. Mitchell. She's worked on the middle school level, she's worked on the high school level, but she's boots to the ground. She still works in the community. She's still a recurring donor to this organization that represents her, hopefully, so well. So for me, it's Myra A. Mitchell.
Well, from what you've just said about her, you've adopted many of her characteristics.
I hope so.
Yes, and I've seen you in action. Because you not only are a friend to the students when it's required and necessary, you don't let them get away with stuff. No, I mean, I've seen you in the stadium when Dwight Gooden was there and somebody was out of line. All it was a raised eyebrow, and that kid just, okay.
You noticed that?
Well, you notice that because that's a level of respect that they understand that you're not there to be punitive. You're there to teach them something about respect in exchange, and it's very obvious. It's very obvious with any of you who I've seen interact in school functions with kids. People respect you. They know what you're all about. They respect that you respect them, and that you bring out the level of excellence that is inherent in every child. One adult away from their own excellence is it's extraordinary, all that you've all done. They deserve it, right? But that you have seen it in all of them. And whether you've seen it directly, you know it's there. You know it's there. And it's just a blessing, all four of you. I'm just so proud to know all of you. Really, I'm honored. Yes, Dr. Solomon. Now you're at the higher level educationally, and you're a little bit more casual in your interactions with students than Rebecca is. Although I've seen you rule with an iron fist, but I've also seen, hey, how you doing? You're very I don't want to say colloquial, but you're one of the guys. Or you're one of the guys with the girls, that there's a level of respect that because you're the principal, but people feel comfortable talking with you. The students are very comfortable with you. What do you make of all of that? And then tell me who your greatest influencer was.
Well, my philosophy is building positive relationships with students. One of the things that I say when interviewing, what's great about Franklin is we're diverse, but what we try to do is connect our diversity, embrace our diversity. And one way of doing that is building positive relationships. I want to bring in people that know how to build positive relationships with our students, our family, our community, because I believe you can do that. We can do anything. So, and I want to go to school and enjoy being there, right? It's a marathon, not a race. And I want students to feel proud and comfortable in being in the building. But don't get it wrong,
Exactly. Well, that seems to be a Solomon trait.
when things need to get done, we get it done. So that's kind of how I roll. And, I'm a person that believes in building relationships, and that's what I try to model each and every day.
And he's just so cool, PJ. He's just so cool. That's what you see.
Well, Mr. Cool, he's the only principal. He's probably the only adult I've ever seen who dresses to the nines to his ankles in a suit, and then he's wearing the sneakers. Now that's the height of cool. Bill Bowman is famous for that as well. You can see the shoes that he's wearing, but that's the height of confidence that you can pull that off. It's amazing.
Well, thank you for noticing.
You can't help it.
Hey.
Wait.
Yeah, gotta be comfortable. But to answer your question, Caring Adult, of course, Donna Burnett, Mr. Westfield, Myra A. Mitchell, Malcolm Bernard, Pastor Soaries, just so many different people. But the one that sticks out to me is no secret, Mr. Carl A. Wade. Mr. Wade was my principal in middle school. He was my coach in middle school. As I've gone through the years, he's become a mentor. He took me in as if I was one of his own. I met Mr. Wade as a very young child because my brother and his older kids were friends, and I was over at his house as a young kid. But at the end of the day, we call him Papa Wade. And I've always admired on how he, led. He was part of the community. People respected him not only as the principal, but he just made everybody feel special. And the ability for him to connect with people in so many different ways As a young educator, to see him, he was Mr. Wilson's position, the student, advocate for the district, and to see how he moved as a professional when I was a professional. But Mr. Wade and Mama Wade, they're important people to me. They're people that I go to this day, and I'm so happy that I was able to connect with him as on so many different levels. Literally took me in as if I was one of his own. And I'm always appreciative of that, and the talks that we've had, the stories we've shared, and really inspired me to be the person I am today.
Well, that's the ability to be whole, to be oneself, and realize whatever our best potentials are. That's just such a gift. And then when an adult validates you like that, it's you can't even describe that. You can't describe the value to a child like that. And we've all been children. We've all, hopefully, certainly this group has had that one adult who's made a difference. And all four of you have made such a tremendous difference in Franklin Township with this effort. Again, how does somebody donate to this? When's the deadline? And let's step it up, Franklin. This is a really, really important endeavor. These kids are continually in need of not only the validation emotionally, but the validation scholastically, that they do have the means to pursue their dreams and to pursue their gifts. And this is one of the more stellar opportunities to do that. So how does one continue to donate?
Sure. So you can donate at our website at www.warrior4life.org. You can also follow us on social media and donate on our current GoFundMe campaign. You can become a recurrent donor like we all are. Every month, it automatically comes out of our accounts. We're also a donor to this organization that we believe so much in. And again, you can push a button, on any of our internet platforms to donate. So we look forward to, you can donate through patronizing our golf outing, of course, or any of the other events that come up. So I'd encourage everyone to visit our website, again, www.warrior4life.org, and patronize them.
Okay, the next event that's coming up is the golf outing?
Yeah, so our golf outing will have details out shortly. Normally for the past 2 years, we had two. So this year we're looking to do it in August. So those details will be out shortly. But like Rebecca has shared, any of our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, follow us, find us, Warrior for Life Scholarship Foundation. The fundraising campaign will be going through the spring, so we're getting ready to name our recipients for this year.
That was my next question.
Yes, and we'll be culminating that. We do it every year at the gazebo, June 23rd. So fundraising campaign will be running throughout the spring. So connect with us. Social media platforms, go to the website, and we look forward to connecting with our community.
So that's June 23rd, Franklin. Please mark that on your calendar. You do not want to miss the awarding of these scholarships. And if any of the past experiences have been an example, these kids are so articulate and so enthusiastic that it will just make you so proud to be a Franklin Warrior yourself.